Happy Friday, y'all. I'm excited to be with you today. So some of you may have seen a post that I did last weekend, just acknowledging some of a rough week that we had here in the Goody house last week, and thanking friends, and just kind of pouring my heart out a little bit. I just wanted to follow up on that. Sometimes I think our greatest encouragements come from the things that we're going through. And so there are some things I want to encourage you all with that I kind of learned and experienced myself last week. Some things that some of my friends that I have here locally, I know that have been struggling, and we talked last week, and one of us even talked today, and things that we talked about. I think that there are more people hurting and going through tough times than we probably even know. And sometimes we try to be strong, and we put on our cape, and we try to act like we have it all together, when quite frankly so often we don't. And sometimes things get so heavy and so tenuous that we can't help but have a moment. And I had a moment last week, and I'm not ashamed of it. And so here's a couple of things I wanted to encourage you in. The first thing is find your people. I just am humbled by the number of people that rallied around me, people who sent me text, people I could call. And listen, there are so many that I could have and didn't. But when you're going through a lot, it's kind of the ones that are right there around you in that moment that you kind of open up to and share with. And I learned how important it was to have the right people around you. Because listen, now I'm the first one to admit I'm a strong person. I don't break down very often. I don't ask for help very often. Not because I'm against it. I just don't. And last week I did. And I can't tell you how much it meant. You need to find your people, because when you know you're not alone, when you don't feel alienated, it is a really, really good feeling. The second thing is throw grace enough at your feet to allow yourself to cry. I'm also not a big crier, and I think a lot of us probably try to hold our stuff together and not to have to express ourselves. But one of the things I've been trying to teach my girl is that crying is good for us. It's cathartic and therapeutic, and it releases a lot of stress from inside of us. And I'm telling you, like, I cried probably more last week, cried out, cried in sadness, just all kinds of tears came out of me last week. But it's good and it's healthy, and there's a reason why God gave us the ability to cry, because he knew that it would be good for us. So allow yourself to cry. Thirdly, I would encourage you to ask others to pray for you. So this is kind of like number one with find your people, but sometimes you just need to talk out what you're going through with someone, and other times you need people to pray on your behalf. I was just at a place where I really didn't know what to pray. Like, I know who holds my future. I know who has tomorrow. I know that all things work together for good. I know that he is for me and not against me, and his plans are for me to prosper. Like, I'm not having a faith crisis in the middle of our storm last week. I wasn't. I'm still not, because we're still going through some of this. But there came to a point where I just didn't know how to pray. Like, I was speechless almost, and it reminded me of just be still, be free. Really, like, there was just some stillness in me last week, because I really didn't know how to pray, what to say. I just was just kind of there, palms up almost, where I was willing to receive, but I just didn't have anything to say. But here's what I do know: I had a lot of people praying on my behalf. They were interceding for me last week, and boy, I felt those prayers, because there was a peace of God that transcended inside of me that only comes from Jesus and only comes from people praying. The other thing that I would do is ask God, when you're going through a tough time, to give you little God winks, because Monica prayed for me, and she prayed in the moment that God would show up and wink on me. And we talked about that in one of our podcasts one week, about how something sweet happens and it's only from Jesus, because it can only be from Jesus. And I'm just going to tell you, like, not that this is going to happen all the time, but I got off that phone with her and God winked on me, and he winked on me in a really, really big, fascinating way. And I called her right back and I told her about it, and we cried together because we couldn't believe how amazing it was. Look for the God winks when you're going through a tough time, because He will not leave you. He will not forsake you. And He is for you. And so He knows when you need to see Him. He knows when you need to experience Him. So reach out to Him and say, hey, okay, it's time. I need some Jesus to show up, because you're not answering my prayers and one thing after another keeps happening. I just need to know that you're still here. So I would just really encourage you on a few of those things. I don't think we take time sometimes to go through things the right way. And I think that those are important processes to allow ourselves to have. Find your people, allow yourself to cry, have intercessory prayer, and ask God to wink on you. I hope that this helps you if you're having a tough time, and that you remember it for a time when you will be. Have a great day.